one whole month, 4 weeks. So thank you very much. And with that, Vacation Nation Radio, we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to Vacation Nation Radio with Sandra Holder and Catherine Hoyt. If you missed any part of today's show, grab the podcast from our website, travelkatz.com. To reach Sandra and Catherine, send an email to vacationnationradio@gmail.com or give them a call anytime at 352-277-7300. That's 352-277-7300. Vacation Nation Radio has been brought to you by Travel Katz. Online at travelkatz.com. That's travelkatz.com. Join us again next time for Vacation Nation Radio.
Depending on where you are, you can pick up Faith Talk Radio on the FM dial. If you're on holiday to St. Petersburg or from Brandon to the coast, listen to all your favorite Faith Talk programming on FM 100.3. Strength between Sundays, always on AM 570 and online at letstalkfaith.com. And in Northwest Hillsborough County on FM 100.3.
I had a lady that was in her mid-70s, and I'd sold her timeshare, and that was the lowest I'd ever felt in my life. I knew then that I had to do something to simply not to go to hell for selling timeshare.
Chuck McDowell founded Wesley Financial Group to help folks cancel their timeshares permanently.
Called her and everybody that I'd sold timeshare to, and I said, this is what I said to you that was a lie, and this is what you need to do to cancel your timeshare. From that point, people started referring friends to me to help them cancel a timeshare, and that's how it all started. I fought the world's largest timeshare company in federal court. If I had lost that lawsuit, there would be no one helping people that have been lied to when they bought timeshare. I guarantee you, if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare contract or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for a free information kit. 800-786-9300. That's 800-786-9300. 800-786-9300.
Hey, this is Bill Carl. We think of ministry as something that happens at the church. But what about ministry that happens in the marketplace? Tune in this Sunday morning at 8 for Ministry in the Marketplace with pastor, evangelist, author, and entrepreneur Dr. Richard Hamlet.
The gospel is not only for the Jews and the 12 tribes of Israel, but it is for the Gentiles, and that it is for everyone. The gospel is for every people group. It's for every ethnicity.
Don't miss Ministry in the Marketplace, Sunday morning at 8 on Faith Talk and at letstalkfaith.com.
Faith Talk 570 WTBN Pinellas Park. Online at letstalkfaith.com, a service of the Salem Media Group.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Virginia's incoming Republican governor and Attorney General promised the Commonwealth will join other Republican-led states and business groups in challenging the Biden administration mandates.
In a joint statement, GOP Governor-elect Glenn Youngkin and Attorney General Jason Miyares vowed to join challenges to components of President Joe Biden's vaccine mandate. The announcement came the same day the U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments about whether to allow the Biden administration to enforce a vaccine or testing requirement that applies to large employers and a separate vaccine mandate for most healthcare workers. Keith Peters reporting.
U.S. employers slowed hiring in December, adding 199,000 jobs as the economy contended with inflation and shortages. Economists had been expecting the U.S. to add about 420,000 jobs last month. This is SRN News.
Odyssey.
Church is where you find the teaching and fellowship to grow in Christ. But between Sundays, how do you keep your spiritual gas tank filled? You can always find strength between Sundays here on Faith Talk AM 570 and AM 910. But you can also listen using Alexa. Simply tell her to enable Faith Talk Tampa and enjoy, streaming at letstalkfaith.com.
How can you draw closer to God and increase your knowledge of His Word? Start today at BibleStudyTools.com. By reading 4 chapters a day, you'll read the entire Bible in less than a year. Or pick a specific topic, such as the life of Christ or the New Testament. Choose among more than 20 free Bible reading plans from 45 to 100 days. BibleStudyTools.com lets you choose your favorite translation. Track your progress and grow your faith online at BibleStudyTools.com.
Strength between Sundays. Faith Talk 570 and 910. Online at letstalkfaith.com. The following program is sponsored by the law offices of Patrick L. Smith. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. Get ready with your legal questions and call Patrick now. 877-943-9673. Again, that's 877-943-9673. The law office is open. And now your host, Patrick Smith.
Oh, hi there, and happy Saturday. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith, and this is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. It is Saturday, January 8th. I think we're still allowed to say Happy New Year at this point. I think this is sort of the final day that you say Happy New Year to someone. So, Happy New Year to everyone out there who's listening. We're here. The law office is open, and we are happy to answer your questions. 877-943-9673. 877-943-9673. Open phone lines will get you and your question right on the air. Encourage you to call in now. Be the first caller of the show, as it often tends to set the trend for the show, but never know. So be the first caller, 877-943-9673. You can email your questions, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. Again, I'd like to start with a brief introduction about me for those of you who may be new to the program. If you're new to the show, I am a local Central Florida attorney who's been in practice over 15 years now. Thousands of clients throughout the state of Florida, offices in Sun City Center, Seminole, up in the Claremont and Villages area as well, so throughout the Central Florida area. And day-to-day primary practice area that I do is estate planning, probate, trust administration, things of that nature, but I don't limit my practice to just that. I also work with other attorneys who practice in a wide variety of fields, including some attorneys who work in personal injury, Medicaid planning, family law, a wide variety of areas that I'll commonly work with them on cases. So we're no stranger to different areas. And we'd be happy to take your question on any legal topic. To be part of the show, 877-943-9673, 877-943-9673, or email your question, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. All right, let's go to our first caller of the day. Let's go to Newport Richie, and let's talk to John. John, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Yes, good morning. I have a query regarding trusts. Can you please tell me what the ongoing fees or charges may be in a trust? For example, if I have some bonds in the trust and I need to sell one, or I need to buy a new one, or one is called, are there some other costs involved in ongoing costs with a trust, please?
Well, it's a fantastic question, John, but I can't help but notice your accent. Where are you from?
I'm from the UK.
All right. What part?
I'm from just south of London.
Okay. So I, not too long ago, spoke at a British tea club. Are you familiar with the British Tea Club, John?
No, I'm not, actually, no.
And they actually gave me an education on what a proper Yorkshire tea is. And I learned that the Brits are very particular about their tea and how they take their tea and from where their tea comes. And so it was a fascinating, eye-opening experience, but by far, besides the absolutely beautiful people that I met at this event, the discovery of the crumpet. If the Brits did nothing else right, the crumpet is beautiful. It is art, and it was amazing.
Good.
Yeah.
I've not heard of the British Tea Club. I don't know where they are.
Well, I'll call me at the office on Monday. I'll make sure you get their information so you get the invite. But to answer your question, the ongoing fees with the trust, it kind of depends on what ongoing action you're taking. What you're talking about specifically, John, is a funding item. So when you're funding assets into a trust or out of a trust, you typically don't incur any fees, at least with the attorney. At least at my office, clients can freely move assets into their trust or out of their trust. So say the most common asset that's moved in and out of trust, John, are CDs, because they have a period and then they mature, and then you either have to renew or you move your CD to a different bank who's giving you a better rate. Well, all that is done by the client going into the bank and saying, hey, I want to do another 24-month CD, or I'm going to move it from this bank A to bank B. And all they do is simply retitle the new CD in the name of the trust. So there's no fee for that. That's something they can do on their own. The fees come when they make substantive changes to the documents. So I would say, say you have a situation where a beneficiary has made you angry, or you have a situation where a beneficiary circumstances have changed in their lives. For instance, you had a beneficiary who was healthy, normal, and had a terrible accident, and now they're special needs and disabled. Well, obviously, you want to change how they get their money, and so you can accommodate for that. So amendments to existing trust at our office anyway, and each attorney is allowed to set their own rates, but at my office it's $250 for an amendment, and that's to make a single change to a single section, or to make 10 changes to 10 sections. We charge by the amendment. The only other ongoing charge for a trust would be like a trustee's fee. So if you initially on your own trust, presuming you've set up a standard grantor trust that's revocable and you own it and you control it as the grantor and the trustee, you're probably not charging yourself a fee, because that would seem silly, and it is. But say you would set up a trust for the benefit of a grandson, and your grandson is 3, and you pass, and there's going to be 18 years before the child turns 21, so someone has to manage that money. Well, the trustee that you've designated typically gets about a 1% fee for that. The code actually says they're entitled to a reasonable fee, and it's a reasonable fee as determined by whom? Well, the beneficiary. And in this case, where the beneficiary is a minor, the beneficiary's natural guardian would stand in the beneficiary's stead and hold the trustee accountable for any fees. So that was a long answer to a pretty short question, John, but it kind of pivots on what type of change or what kind of action is going on in the trust to determine whether or not there is a charge, and if there is a charge, what that charge is.
I see. Okay. So the main charge would be for amendments then, which you say is $250.
Right. And I recommend to my clients, if I haven't seen you in 3 years, come in and see me. And if that way we can have a brief conversation. And I was just telling this to a client 2 days ago, where I said, look, I have these meetings all the time, and they're 5 or 10 minutes. Nothing's changed. Everybody's healthy, happy, and they're on their way out the door. But occasionally we discover, oh my gosh, Patrick, I forgot this was the brother I put in charge of the trust. Well, he's battling stage 4 cancer now, and there's no way he could handle operating the trust. We need to adjust that. So you do find things, and that's why I tell clients, if something changes in the family, give us a call sooner as opposed to later, so that we can address that and we're not as reactive. The last thing a planning attorney, and estate planning attorney especially, wants to do is to be reactive. We want to be ahead of the game. We want to have a contingency plan so that we can account for that, because that ultimately translates, John, into more peace of mind for you and your family.
Right. All right. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate that, and I'll call your office.
And John, just one more last question about your British background. Who is your football team?
Arsenal.
Because everyone has one. It's like their tea. Everyone has their tea and their football team that they pull for. It's a beautiful culture. And John, we thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thank you for your advice.
All right, yes, sir.
Thank you.
All righty, listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. To be part of today's program, 877-943-9673, 877-943-9673. You can also email your questions, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. And again, that number, live and local, open phone lines, 877-943-9673. And a special hello to all of our fans joining us on Facebook Live this morning. We appreciate your fidelity and tuning in. And now let's go to Haines City and talk to Robert. Robert, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Good morning, Attorney Smith. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, Robert. How is my home county of Imperial Polk County doing this morning?
We're doing super. Everything's wonderful here right now.
That's what I like to hear. How's my favorite sheriff doing? How's Sheriff Judd?
He's very popular. He's doing well.
Yeah. He's every time I see a sound clip or something pop up about him, I'll stop what I'm doing to hear what he has to say, because it's usually, well, not usually, it's always worthwhile for me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Robert, thank you for calling in. Go ahead with your question.
My question is about a timeshare. Is there a way to undo a timeshare, any way that you've been affiliated with in the past?
Yes, sir. There's actually several attorneys that I've worked with in the past who, one of their niche practice areas is this exact issue. How do I get out of a timeshare? Because if you talk about an industry that is rife with the potential for being scammed, it is the timeshare industry. And I'm not talking about the party selling you the timeshare, but the parties purporting to get you out of said timeshare. And I have seen over the course of my practice some absolutely horrendous contracts that people have been asked to sign, where basically they're being asked to continue to pay all the bills and help they actually pay money to a third party in addition to their annual dues to sell the timeshare. So let's be clear. They're paying money to someone else to sell their own asset, and then that party gets the proceeds of the sale, plus the money that the client paid them, while the client is still on the hook for those annual dues. And so you see these situations where, you know, if you contract for that, you've agreed to it. So I recommend to people, whenever you're dealing with a timeshare situation, always bring in counsel. And I'll be happy to, Robert, if you give me a call in the office on Monday, I'll put you in touch with a couple of them who'll talk to you, get you squared away as far as your options are, and make sure that when you surrender the timeshare, it's done so with what you're really looking for, which again is peace of mind. You're looking to know that you've handed off this timeshare, you've handed it back, and you are free of any further financial responsibility.
That'll be good. I will be contacted this week then.
Robert, that sounds great. I'll give out the office number here a little bit later in the show, okay?
All right. We appreciate your program.
Well,
thank you, sir.
Robert, I appreciate you saying that. Take care of Polk County for me, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, have a great day. All right, you're listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. 877-943-9673. 877-943-9673. That's to call in and be part of today's program. To reach me at the office during the week, as I promised Robert, let me go ahead and give that number out. The toll-free number to call and schedule your complimentary consultation, 877-754-6764. Again, that number, 877-754-6764. And again, you can also email for your appointment, or you can email for your question during the show, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. All right, let's go to Jane in St. Pete. Jane, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Good morning, Mr. Smith. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, Jane.
I'll try to
Happy
be
to do
as brief as possible.
Well, I get nervous.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, but I get nervous, Jane, because remember, when people say I'm going to be brief, mine is a profession that often refers to 10,000-page documents as briefs, okay? So I'll warn you about that. But go ahead, Jane.
I'm aware of that, but we're on the radio. Okay, my question is, the executor of a deceased person's estate did not apparently do the job of taking care of all the debts that were owed for the deceased. There was a court order, at least 5 different judges ordered the deceased to keep a $50,000 insurance policy for a disabled person. The policy was canceled just before the deceased died. There was the person inherited over $1 million that was deceased. The executor did not pay the court order for $50,000. And I was wondering if there is any reciprocity in this situation.
Well, Jane, let me ask you this just to make sure I don't step in any bear traps. Are you currently represented by counsel on this case?
No, it was quite a while ago. But
And you don't have to go into any details, and please don't say the names
No,
of
of
any
course.
attorneys or anything like that. But I just
No.
want to know
No.
what county was the case in?
it was in Alachua County.
Alachua County. Okay, just so I can.
I had representation, but primarily it was in Alachua County, even though I moved to another county.
Okay, so you had
And
counsel.
it was quite some time ago,
So
but
you-
I didn't know whether it was, whether it's still anything that can be done about it or not, sir.
So just to be clear, though, you had counsel representing you at the time, but they no longer represent you in this matter. Is that correct?
Yes, it was
Okay.
quite a few years ago.
Okay. So the short answer is yes. There is accountability there, and in any probate process, towards the end of the administration, there's a handful of items that must be done unless they're waived. Now, one of those items which is waivable is what we call a formal accounting. So the personal representative, the party you're calling executor, that's actually a masculinely biased term that refers to males only. Florida has a gender-neutral term now, which is personal representative, but means the same thing. I'm not trying to be nitpicky. That's just for your own
Oh, no,
edification.
you're doing fine. I appreciate your help,
Well,
sir.
yeah, and so at the end of the day, this person is held accountable to the beneficiaries through this accounting. So unless that accounting was waived by the beneficiaries, it's still outstanding in my opinion. Now, it must have been addressed one way or the other, but that accounting lays out sort of, here's all the assets we started with that I marshaled as personal representative. Here's all the debts that I paid as personal representative. Here's the tax bill, copy of the return. Here's how I derived at the shares. And here's how I am fulfilling the decedent's wishes. So in some cases, and I call them the like Ma and Pa Kettle cases. It's a first marriage, 60 or 70 years. They pass and leave it 50-50 to 2 kids. That goes through a probate. Often there they waive an accounting because they've been working together the whole time. They know everything that's going on. They don't need the accounting. But if it's a blended family or a unique family scenario where there's any inkling of suspicion, they're going to want that accounting. And that accounting gives you the opportunity to look at it and say, look, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Now, your facts are a little bit different. Based on what you described, there was an actual court order telling the personal representative, go do this. And according to your facts, they violated that order. Well, that personal representative is held accountable directly to the probate judge in that scenario. So multiple ways of accountability there, Jane, but being that it was so long ago, I don't know. If you can get me a copy of the file, complimentary, I'll be happy to review the file with you stem to stern and tell you what, if anything, is an option now. It's very possible that there's nothing you can do at this point, but we can talk about what could have been done back then. But at least we'll have peace of mind knowing that, we've exhausted any potential options.
Sir, I think we have a little more than peace of mind because I have all the records, the accounts, everything.
Well, that's wonderful.
And
Preserve.
At the time, I didn't pursue it. Let's just say I did my homework. 5 judges ordered, and it was a case of, in other words, I'm not going to do this, like it or not. I'm going to have my way.
Well, feel free to give the office a call.
So without going into all the details over the phone, but I have records from the county. There were thousands of dollars involved.
Well, that's wonderful
and,
news. That's wonderful news for your case, Jane. So I just encourage you, preserve that file. And I'll give out the office number. And if you want to set up a complimentary consultation, bring it in. I'll walk you through it, tell you where you are. You can tell me where you want to be, and I'll help you connect those dots as best I can, okay?
Well, it's pretty simple.
All right.
I did my job. The judges, we had the court orders. I have all the records. I was guardian for this person, and they simply thumbed their nose at the whole thing. In other words, they just absolutely avoided any responsibility for the court order.
Okay.
And there were thousands of dollars involved, and the person inherited over $1 million.
Well, like I said, we'll do a complimentary.
I do have all that for you if we can do anything about it.
We'll be happy to give you the consultation, Jane. Like I said, and in the privacy of the office, we can get into a lot more of the the
Of
detail
course,
off the air, obviously, but I'll give out that office number here later in the show. You give me a call next week, and we'll get you in for an appointment, okay?
Well, this is great. Thank you. At least I thought there would still be accountability in the statute of limitations fund. I was hoping, but a court order is a court order.
Well, we'll be happy to do everything we can to help you, Jane.
And thank you so much. You've been very kind.
Oh, I appreciate you saying that, Jane. Have a
You're
happy New
great
Year.
help to the community.
Well, thank you for your kind words, Jane. I appreciate that. All righty, you're listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. You can call in now with your question, 877-943-9673. 877-943-9673, or email your question, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. All right, next we are going to go to my hometown of Winter Haven. We're going to talk to Summer. Summer, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Hi there, how are you?
I'm great, Summer. How's my hometown doing?
Oh, it's fantastic. Growing, but still lovely.
Yeah, when I went down there, because Mama and Daddy still live in Winter Haven there, off Thornhill Road, actually. And so when I go down there, I notice...
I drive that road every day.
Most Winter Havens do, because if you're going to Walmart or if you're going to Publix, you're going to hop on Thornhill Road at one point or the other. And,
that's right.
And so, yeah, it's just part of the territory. But it's amazing to me, growing up as a boy playing Little League Baseball there and just remembering all the citrus groves. And
I know.
And they are all gone. They are all
gone.
It's
they're so sad.
They're all subdivisions at this point, which there's nothing, bad to say about that. That's progress and good for them.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day,
progress can just slow down a little.
Well, and I will tell you this. Growing up a boy playing baseball in Polk County, there's certain olfactory memories that get burnt into your memory. And to this day, if I smell orange blossoms, I'm immediately back on that baseball field because we had orange groves right behind the field. And it was also right next to the citrus plant where they would cook the oranges.
I know it.
So you know that smell too.
Absolutely.
And that smell is a very polarizing smell because you either love it or you hate it. There's no one who's on the fence about that smell, but I happen to be one of the ones who loves that smell of when they're cooking the oranges. I think it's delightful and it reminds me of my childhood. But we digress, Summer. How can we help you this morning?
Well, I've got a question. I am the trustee of a trust. I had several properties in the trust, and I took all of them out except for one. And I am now selling that property, but it is adjacent to another property that I took out of the trust. So I'm wondering, right now, in order for me to sell them as one, I have to put them back in the same name, either the trust or into the LLC. So my question is, what would be the best for me to do? Should I put the one property back in the trust or take the other one out of the trust?
I always recommend... Now, first of all, you're not represented by an attorney in this particular transaction, are you?
No.
Okay, so the short answer is I prefer typically to sell properties from individual names as opposed to selling from the trust. That way, any request for seller information is going to be about you, not about your trust. So you don't have to give away private, intimate family details contained in your trust to some random third party who's buying your piece of property. But I say that to say this, Summer. Give us a call, bring in the paperwork, and we'll look it over with you, because I know you said it's kind of intermingled with an LLC. And I want to...
Which is my LLC.
Correct. So that portion of the property is in the LLC. There's another portion of the property which is not. Are either of these portions your homestead property, your primary residence?
No.
Okay.
No.
So neither is homestead property. Are either encumbered by any sort of mortgage or home equity line or anything like that? So they're all free and clear. That bodes well for you. That means odds are, and I say odds are because, again, I haven't looked at the first word on the first page, but more than likely, Summer, you're going to be able to do whatever you want. But you very...
Well, I can, yes.
Yeah, but you very wise... Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm just wondering what would be best. One, I don't know if me transferring the one property back in the trust, and then when I sell those properties and I'm paid for those properties, that money goes into the trust, and do I have to pay all of the fees and the taxes that go into selling those properties?
Well, like you did with this call, you called me ahead of time to find out what would happen if you did X. And that's from the legal perspective as far as the conveyance. Do I sell from the LLC? Do I sell from the trust? Do I sell from my individual name? Or do I do some hybrid of those three options? You're going to do the same with your tax professional. You're going to call them and say, look, from an income tax perspective, how do I come out best? How do I maximize my tax planning opportunity here? And if you don't have a good CPA you work with, we can give you the name and number of some, and who'll be happy to plug in and help you out, okay?
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your help. Appreciate it.
Summer, enjoy your day in Winter Haven, okay?
Will do. You take care.
All
Bye.
Right. You're welcome. Bye-bye. All right, you're listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. The number to call in and be part of today's program, 877-943-9673. 877-943-9673. That's your number to be part of today's program. Live and local open phone lines get you right on the air, 877-943-9673. Or email me, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. I kid you not, this next caller we're about to take, we started off with a call from Haines City, which was just anchored in Polk County, my home county. I'm very proud of being from Imperial Polk County. And then our third caller was from my hometown of Winter Haven. And now we're going to Roger in Eagle Lake. Roger, are you there?
Yes.
Roger, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. Roger, do you know what high school is located in Eagle Lake, Florida?
Lake Regents, I believe.
Lake Regent. My high school. That was my high school that I went to. So I kid you not, listeners out there in the Attorney Patrick Smith world, we did not plan this, but we literally went from my county to my hometown to now the town where my high school was located. How is everything in Eagle Lake this morning, Roger?
It's doing pretty good. Nice cool breeze outside.
Now you talk about, I remember there used to be some orange groves over in Eagle Lake. Are there any remaining over there?
There's a few. Not too many, but there is a few left.
Yeah. Well, they're dwindling off. That just makes us cherish the ones we have even more, right?
Yes. Too many houses.
Yes. Roger, how can we help you today?
Well, this morning, the question is, my mom and my dad had a house built for them, like a government home. And a year after it was built, my dad passed away, so I gave up my apartment, moved back here with my mom to help her pay bills. Well, she's worried about if something happens to her that she won't be able to give the house to me. And is there any legal thing that, it's for me and my sister actually, but is there anything that she can do to give her peace of mind that if something happens to her that the house will automatically go to us? Because I know they said that she...
Go. No, I want you to finish. Go ahead, Roger.
Well, just, she said, I think she has to live in it for 15 years, something like that. And she's up in the age. She's in pretty good health, though, but there's always that chance. And she just want to make sure that it will go to her kids with no problems.
Oh, okay, so just unpack, and I think I have a perfect answer for your question, Roger, but just to make sure I understood your question pristinely, who or whom is the creditor that Mom is worried about?
I don't know exactly who it is. I just know that it's it's a government home. They built it for them because they was up in age. They couldn't afford a house. And so I don't know exactly who it is. I just know that they said that if they didn't live in it for 15 years, that it goes back to them.
Okay. So at the end of the day, in the state of Florida, one of the fantastic things about being a Florida resident, and a little over a month ago, we spent, an entire show unpacking homestead law. Well, one of the issues of Florida homestead was the creditor protection. No one can take your parents' house away from them, their primary residence. Now, that does have a cap to it, Roger. The cap is not economical, it's geographical. And that cap is 1/2 acre within the city limits. It's 160 acres outside of the city limits, okay? Now, what you're talking about here sounds to me like one of the exceptions. There's two exceptions in this particular case. There's the ad valorem property tax mechanic lien exception under the Constitution, but this exception sounds like it may be something to do with the actual lender who helped them acquire the home. There's probably paperwork that they signed and contracted to taking possession of the home. Do you know if they're still in possession of that paperwork, Roger?
I'm sure they are. My sister's pretty good about keeping everything. So
then have
I'm sure they have it.
Have your sister get us a copy. We'll take a look at it, tell you exactly what the issue is in light of your parents' concern. And 99% chance there's going to be a way to give them total peace of mind and know that everything's covered.
Okay.
All right, Roger.
So we just get contact with you, or?
Yeah, I'll give out the office number here as soon as I hang up with you, Roger, and you can give the office a call, and we'll get you in for an appointment, okay?
All right, that sounds wonderful.
Right,
I appreciate your time, and I'll try to smile every time I look at Orange Street for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and next time you stop by Lake Region, tell them I said, "Go Thunder."
Okay, sounds
All
good.
right. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Yep. You too. Thank you. Bye.
All right, you're listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. Ours was one of those unique high schools. It was the Thunder, but our mascot was a stallion. So it's kind of like Auburn, where they have they're the Tigers, but their mascot is an eagle. So I don't understand that either. But anyway, those sorts of mysteries just enrich the character of Polk County, in my opinion. 877-943-9673, 877-943-9673. That's your number to be part of today's program, live and local. Happy to help any way we can, or email me, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. All right, let's go to St. Pete, and let's talk to Rick. Rick, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. Hey, Rick.
Let me go take this call. Hey, how you doing?
Good, Rick. Sounds like you're busy.
I'm a very busy guy, and I'm so sorry. I have a brief question for you. It's basically an anonymous question. My wife and I flew home to Ohio. My wife was sexually assaulted in 2000.
Rick, I'm so sorry.
We've been hiding in South Florida for 13 years from this assault guy. So we went home. We filed a police report. The statute of limitations has not run out on filing a police report, so we did that. Okay. They basically told us there's nothing you can do because she didn't do this and she didn't do that. Suck it up. She was so upset. She refused to believe it. She finally came clean after 12 years, told the family what happened, and we want to know what we can do. This individual's still free, still walking the street, still stalking us and her. He said, well, the only thing you can do is file your police report. He said you can go to the downtown area where you're at and file a protection order or for whatever they do for stalking. We want to do something to make him pay for what he did to her.
Right.
She is just assumed, for hearsay, that, nobody believes her. Nobody believes her story. I said, what do we do?
Well,
so I heard your show on the radio this morning. We haven't really furthered any endeavors on that, but we are going to do something if we could find the right person. We spend every last dime we have to make them pay.
Well, just so you know this, Rick, the one thing you've accomplished today, and if you want to celebrate accomplishing, a rather significant victory, you've got now an army of people who just heard your story who will be holding you and your wife up in prayer. And that will make a difference. My mother raised me to teach me that prayer does make a difference, and little as much if God is in it. So know that this small move that you made by just calling in to ask for help is going to yield a significant benefit, okay? And I personally will be praying for you and your wife. Now, just to be clear, on the crime, did it occur in the state of Florida or did it occur in Ohio?
It occurred in the state of Ohio.
Okay.
I have helped her dig up every bit of information she needs, that she wanted. She buried this in her mind. She had it when we were young. I worked all the time. My daughter babysat 2 doors down from this guy, and she worked with this guy. He was a banker. He had a brand new baby.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you, Rick. I'm gonna stop you. I don't want you to get into too much detail. Just more to protect the show and to protect you. But I believe you that there's a narrative there. But I want to tell you this: if it was an Ohio crime, the presiding body is the Ohio Attorney General's office. Okay. And in a situation, I've had not this particular type of case, but similar cases where someone said, I've been the victim of a criminal act, and they take it to law enforcement, and law enforcement says, we're not going to file any charges. So what in Florida you do through your counsel is something called a direct filing. So you do a direct filing with the Attorney General's office. Now, you will need Ohio counsel for this. If you don't have an Ohio attorney, call me at the office on Monday, and I will put you in touch with a couple different Ohio attorneys who can steer you in the right direction, Rick, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. But in the meantime, I encourage you and your wife to make sure you get in to see a good counselor or therapist and start unpacking that trauma as best you can, because there's no sense in bottling that up, and I hate that happened.
The good news is we've been through all that. We've cleared through all that, and we are good.
Good.
We're at the point where there is no reason that he needs to be free to do this to someone else.
Well, I think that's a wonderful testimony you've got there, that God brought you through this. And, it's Romans 8:28. And, you don't understand why things happen, but the faith is for the times when we don't understand why things are happening the way that they are. And, again, I am so sorry for what happened to you and your wife, and I will keep you in my thoughts and prayers, Rick.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
You too, Rick. All right, you're listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith, 877-943-9673, 877-943-9673. You can call in now, email your question, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. And if you're out there and you are in that situation, reach out for help. If it's a girlfriend or a friend at work, or if it's a pastor at a church, don't sit there and suffer. Do like this young lady did and reach out and get the help you need. No one deserves to be treated that way, and you have the power to speak up and speak your voice and get out from underneath that sort of abuse. So I want to encourage you out there, if you're in that situation, know, first of all, that we're all praying for you, and you have the strength to get out of that situation, and you could just be one phone call away. So again, no one deserves to be treated that way. And Rick, you and your wife, in our thoughts and prayers. All righty, if you have a question this morning, 877-943-9673, 877-943-9673, or you can email your question, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. All right, let's go to Haines City and talk to Patrick. Patrick, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Morning, sir, and thank you for taking my question.
Sure. Patrick, has anyone ever told you have an absolutely fantastic name?
Yes, quite often.
I mean, but do you ever get tired of hearing it?
Oh, not really.
No, me either. So that's wonderful. Patrick, go ahead with your question.
So I have two questions, actually. We have a property in Haines City, and the builder actually did some mistake in when it comes to the stucco of the second floor of the property. And of course, there's the house is under a lawsuit right now. But we were thinking about selling the property. So my question to you is this: if we sell it to, if we sell it to well, the question is, is there any liability if we sell the house knowing that there's an issue with the stucco and the house is under a lawsuit? That's number one. Number two, the subcontractor who actually was responsible for the stucco of the house kept sending the document, from the law office, and actually they filed for bankruptcy, but we never respond to the document because they are the third party. We actually suing the builder. Okay. And my question is, were we supposed to respond to this document?
All right. On your second question, are you represented by counsel in this lawsuit?
Yes.
Then I can't answer your question. Ask your current counsel that question, okay? And it's not to be rude to you at all, Patrick, because, again, you have a fantastic name, and I want to help you as much as I can. But there are rules about what attorneys can and can't do. If you're represented by counsel on a particular matter, what I can do is say, go ask your existing attorney. They should be able to answer that question for you. As far as the first question, the disclosure, yeah, I think you have a duty to disclose. I can't cite chapter and verse, but when a seller is selling a piece of property or building or structure to a buyer and they have actual knowledge of a material fact that could affect the value of the home, they do have a duty to disclose that.
Okay.
So here was a question that came up. This is a question, Patrick, I'm just going to ask you this for your honest opinion. If a house is haunted or believed to be haunted, do you think the seller has a right to know that?
Of course.
You say of course. And it's funny to me because it seems like 50-50. I see people who say, yeah, absolutely they have a right to know. And then I see another half of the people that say, no, there's not. That's not a material fact to do with the home. I mean, there's no way to codify or measure that. There's no quantifiable element to a haunting. And I think the response to that is, well, then you try living there. And at the end of the day, I think that's a good law school exam fact pattern question. Is a haunted house a material fact? I mean, but the stucco clearly is. So yeah, I would disclose the issue about the stucco.
Well, thank you very much for your advice and for taking my question. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely, Patrick. We appreciate you calling in. Have a great Saturday and enjoy Haines City, okay?
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye. All
righty. You're listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. The number to be part of our program, 877-943-9673. 877-943-9673. Or email your question, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com, or email us at that email address. Call in now, 877-943-9673. As promised, the phone number to reach us at the office during the week to schedule your complimentary consultation, be it in the Sun City Center office, in our Polk County office, up in Lake County, or right here in beautiful Pinellas and Hillsborough County, 877-754-6764. One toll-free number, 877-754-6764. All right, getting ready to make her Attorney Patrick Smith debut is going to be Yana, our Belarusian producer. Yana is going to be reading the email questions today in light of Peter the Intern's absence. Unless you're watching, I guess he's not even on camera when he's here. So you wouldn't know. Peter the Intern is not in today. He's actually out. He was attending a family event, so he's not with us today. So Yana, the Belarusian producer, you are up. Go ahead with our first email question, please, Yana.
What is the difference between a will and trust?
What is the difference between a will and trust? Great question. Great job, Yana. And the short answer is there's a lot of differences. So when it comes to a will and a trust, it comes down to the biggest difference is efficiency. When it comes to a will, they go through a process known as probate, which when the assets outside of any exemptions exceed $75,000 under the state code, it's a formal probate. Typically, it takes about 6 to 14 months, and it costs about 3 to 10%. In addition to that, the will does nothing for any incapacity planning. It is strictly for post-mortem matters after you've passed, obviously. That's what post-mortem means. And it will address those issues then, meaning it doesn't address incapacitation. So if you develop dementia or you go in a coma, the will doesn't help you at all. And lastly, wills are public record. They're completely open for anybody to review. Trust have some differences. Number one, they skip the probate process. Number two is the fact that they provide incapacity planning. They give you a way to say, hey, this person or these people are to take over my finances and responsibilities should I not be able to do it myself. You get to articulate that ahead of time. And lastly, trust are private. They're off the public record. So if you wanted to do bequest in a rather clandestine fashion, you can do so without disclosing it to all the world. So great job, Yana. We appreciate Yana reading the email questions today in Peter's absence. And we have our next caller, a very special caller. Let's go to Sonia in Claremont. Sonia, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Hi, Patrick.
Hey, Sonia. How are you today?
Good, thanks.
So Sonia is a realtor that I work with, and I'll let her give herself a little shout out and plug, but Sonia is actually sponsoring an event that I'll be speaking at this upcoming Wednesday, is it, I believe?
Yes.
It's this Wednesday, and I'm going to let Sonia tell the listening audience a little bit about that and how they can reach out to Sonia if they want to RSVP to attend. So Sonia, the floor is yours.
Great. Thanks, Patrick. Hi, everyone. My name is Sonia Dumas. I'm a realtor at La Rosa Realty Horizons here in Claremont. I want to invite all of our Claremont listeners to our Snacks and Facts that I'm sponsoring with Attorney Patrick Smith. It's this Wednesday, January 12th. It's from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. at the Claremont Arts and Recreation Center. And if I can give you that address. So we're Patrick's going to talk about the different aspects of Florida homestead law, and then he's going to have a Q&A session right after the presentation. We have the space is limited, so you'll have to RSVP. And here, I'll give you the name of where you'll RSVP. Her name's Amy Dingman. Her phone number is 352-708-5994, or you can email her at adingman@ClaremontFL.org. We hope to see you there.
Yeah, Sonia, thank you for putting on the event. And anybody who didn't get that information, you can always call my office during the week, and they'll be happy to provide that information. And Sonia wasn't kidding. Based on the text she sent me last night, we are already at a large crowd that's going to be in attendance. And like she said, they're not kidding about the space being limited in light of the pandemic. They're still monitoring large crowds and things of that nature. So if you want to attend, and I know lots of people do, just based on, about a month and a half ago now, Sonia, we did a special on the show about homestead, and given the response, it doesn't surprise me. This is one of those topics that people are always wondering, what does it really mean to have Florida homestead law? So we're appreciative of you sponsoring the event. And if people ever want to get in touch with you, Sonia, for your services as a realtor, how would they do that?
They can just give me a call. My cell number is 321-303-9804. And I help buyers and sellers in the Central Florida area.
All right. And Sonia, we appreciate you so much and all you do for us. And thank you for sponsoring this event. And we will see you on Wednesday if we don't see you before.
All right. Great. Thank you so much, Patrick.
You're welcome, Sonia. Thank you. All righty. You're listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. And if you want to reach out to my office during the week, and again, the offices, we're very busy right now. So if you want an appointment, I would suggest you go ahead and call sooner as opposed to later. And the ladies at the office, any of the young ladies who answer, if it's Becky, Megan, Savannah, Alyssa, any of the young ladies there will be more than happy to get you on my calendar and get you scheduled for your complimentary consultation. That office number is 877-754-6764, 877-754-6764, and you can call Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30 p.m., and the ladies will be more than happy to get you on my calendar. Some clients say, well, Patrick, I can't physically get into the office because of an ailment or a work schedule or whatever. We also do conference calls. We make ourselves available for conference calls so that we can connect with clients who have difficulties physically coming into the office. So if that's your speed, just make sure to tell my staff that, and they will be more than happy to accommodate. And the other thing you can do, by the way, if you are offered an appointment and you say, hey, if something comes available sooner, let me know, have them add you to the cancellation list. Occasionally people reschedule or things come up, and you can be on that list, and then they will get you in sooner as opposed to later. So you can feel free to do so by calling the office, 877-754-6764, 877-754-6764. So you can give the office a call on Monday, and they'll be happy to get you scheduled for that appointment. And again, the number to call into our show, 877-943-9673, 877-943-9673. Yana, I feel like we have just enough time for one more email question. Yana, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Patrick. How do I become a Florida resident?
Great question. One of the most common questions we get. We do a lot of presentations for people who are new to the state of Florida, and residency in the state of Florida is actually an intent-based test. Now, the intent is, do you intend to be a Florida resident? Yes, congratulations, you're a Florida resident. But there are certain markers which should indicate your Florida residency. Now, none of these are sort of outcome determinative, but they all sort of smack of the fact that you are a Florida resident. Do you have a Florida driver's license? Do you have a Florida voter registration card? Are you registered with your real property as homestead? The other thing that you can do if you really want to give the biggest signal possible, filing something called a declaration of domicile. Up until this date, I was a resident of Wyoming or Wisconsin or wherever, but as of this date forward, I am a Florida resident domiciled in this state and county here in the Sunshine State. So that's the answer on how to become a Florida resident. So 877-943-9673. That's your number for next week. We're out of time for today, so write that number down. Think of some hard questions to call in next week, and we'll be happy to do what we can. 877-943-9673. And again, to reach us at the office during the week, 877-754-6764. 877-754-6764.
Was sponsored by the law offices of Patrick L. Smith. Faith Talk 570, WTBN. Odyssey. Strength between Sundays.